General Kimmitt, thank you so much for being here. Your credentials, your knowledge on this, unlimited. So I'm going to jump right into it. What do you make of the U.S. relying on the Taliban for the safety of its citizens in Afghanistan?
Well, I'm a little concerned about that because the Taliban, first of all, haven't lived up to an agreement since they formed their organization. We saw that at the Doha talks. They violated every commitment they've made. And what the Taliban can turn on, the Taliban can turn off in a moment. So the fact that we're relying on the Taliban, I think, is a risk that we need to be aware of, and we need to be having some plans if they decide to turn off that flow.
So speaking of that, it sounds like you believe that the Taliban could be a formidable opponent if this continues. Now, you wrote about the Taliban's quick victory saying, quote, they have mastered the core elements of public relations, psychological operations, and propaganda. Three very powerful weapons in any kind of conflict. Did the United States actually underestimate the abilities of the Taliban?
Well, I think we did. Not necessarily their military capability. We outgun them. We outfly them. Everything that we have, we outnumber them. Should have said this would have been a good defensive battle for months and months. But their ability to get inside the heads, not only of the Afghan soldiers, but also inspiring their own soldiers, you have to give them a little nod to their military capability and their psychological capability. But when it comes down to man on man, I trust the Afghans. But if they think they've been abandoned by the United States, they probably say, why should we fight if everybody else is leaving?
So, General, it sounds like you believe at least the Taliban are relatively well organized. They've already seized U.S.-made airplanes, tanks, and artillery throughout their takeover of the country. What could that mean for the years ahead in that region?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of Taliban out there, a lot of different groups, so they're not necessarily centrally organized. There's a lot of fractious communications and interaction between all of them. They can't even form a government yet. So I think we could easily get in and break up those groups with our own information operations. But at the same time, this is a group that wants to go back to the 5th century. I'm not too worried about them getting in helicopters and airplanes anytime soon. What I am concerned about is al-Qaeda and its affiliates coming back in. They are extremely talented. Could very well be, as we saw on September 11th, some of those affiliates could get in those planes and become a real threat to the region, particularly in Europe.